Today is the perfect Sunday. If you are an Aquarius like me, you might appreciate the rainy days, cold days, silent days, days where you can just feel that you can be yourself. But one of the things that make a rainy day the perfect day is loneliness. Yes, loneliness. It might sound a little bit weird, but loneliness is not the same for all of us. Also, loneliness is much more than what the dictionary says. I can't believe this. This is the definition from Oxford Dictionary of loneliness. Sadness because one has no friends or company. No friends, no company. Well, for sure, but there are some other types of loneliness. Let's talk about it. Do you feel lonely? Do you feel that sometimes you have nobody to talk to? Do you feel that sometimes you're just by yourself? Don't worry. That happens to many of us. But also loneliness brings us peace. I learn things from being alone. I can explore myself just by being alone. Loneliness is not just a negative thing as many people think. It's just so essentialistic to say that loneliness is just the fact of being alone. That might be true, but only in the sense of the physical matter, like not having people around. But there is also another aspect of loneliness that is internal, that even when you are surrounded by people, you still feel alone. So loneliness cannot be only the fact of being alone without people, because you can experience loneliness when you are surrounded by people. This is a thought that is hard to explain. That do you know what I mean? How many times have you been surrounded by hundreds, thousands? You still feel alone. So loneliness is not just the fact of being by yourself, like no friends, no company. No, sometimes it's something way more internal than that. My point is very simple. Not for everyone, but for many of us, being alone is not the product of the context. It's not because the situation we are in is pushing us to be alone, like having no friends, being away, having no family. No, for many of us, it's actually a conscious choice. Yes, I know it might sound weird for many of you, and not all of you are going to understand this. But for many of us, being by ourselves is just a choice. Being alone is a choice. It's somehow a lifestyle. And I'm not saying that I have to be alone forever, and I want to be alone like 24/7. But loneliness is required, at least in my life, maybe in yours as well, is required as part of my balance. So that I can be balanced, sometimes I need my space and I need my loneliness. But this is the funny part. Many people might think that being alone is just being boring, being boring, doing absolutely nothing. Actually, for me, it's quite the opposite. I'm alone because it's the perfect space where I can be creative, where I can be productive, when I can do my hobbies, when I can do myself, and I can do anything that I want to do. I'm basically, whenever I'm alone, at least me, you might be probably you do different things when you are by yourself in your time. But when I'm alone, I'm never doing nothing. I'm never doing nothing. That sounds funny. I never do nothing. I'm always doing something. I'm always being productive. I'm either reading, writing, drawing, playing my guitar, going to the gym. I don't know. I can also watch my favorite series or YouTube videos, whatever. I'm doing something. I'm just enjoying with myself. I don't have the need of physically being with somebody. However, I also understand that for many of you, this is not the case. Many of you are different from people like us that like to be alone. Some of you like to be surrounded by people. That's totally normal. That's totally okay. We are different people. We react to the circumstances differently. And if you are alone because your context and your situation is pushing you to be alone, the only advice I can give you from an Aquarius, from somebody who is very introverted, I'm somehow silent. So maybe I'm not the most knowledgeable person to talk to you about being extroverted, but I'm sure that you have to break the ice first. So many times, like, yeah, you might not have friends, you might not have, I don't know, relatives around, your sister, brother, your besties. You have to find ways to just grow your circle of friends. I know that is hard, but it's very possible. Probably I'm not the right person to be talking about extroverts or how to be extroverted, because I'm not one. But For sure, I'm not shy. For sure, I'm not shy. And whenever I need to find friends or if I feel the need of being around people, I do create the spaces and I put myself into situations where I can potentially meet people. Example, just as an easy example, I have joined a couple of times Facebook groups related to art and related to sports. Time ago, when I was living in Poland, I had zero friends. I love to ride my bike. So I joined one of these group of cyclists. And they were like on the weekends gathering, going to places, cycling. And I ended up with my first friends just like that. You like poetry? Join poetry groups. You can find even language exchange groups. If you are from, let's say, whatever, if you are from, I don't know, Peru, let's say, and you are living in Japan, probably if you go to Facebook, you might find the Peruvians in Japan. If you don't want to mix with other people, you want to first feel comfort with people that you feel comfortable talking about, like people who share your roots. Probably you might find people from your nationality almost anywhere. So again, probably I'm not entitled to talk about and tell you advices of how to grow your circle of friends because either I'm not extroverted, but I'm not shy either. I'm a weird combination, let me tell you. But for sure, if your issue is that you want to grow your circle of friends, you have to break the ice first. Many people also wonder about the negative sides of being alone or spend too much time by yourself. Is it okay? This is the issue. This is the issue. Being by yourself and finding loneliness appealing, attractive, and somehow beneficial might have a couple of negative consequences. Let me tell you. Oh my God, look, my coffee plant is so big. This was my former coffee machine. This is my new coffee machine. This one, I love all of this. By the way, at the moment, I'm trying this one. Is Brazilian coffee amazing? I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about this, but maybe that's a secondary effect of being alone. You start loving coffee. Now, I want to be very honest and I'm going to confess a couple of things about myself. I think that by being lonely and enjoying loneliness, I have developed a couple of things that might not necessarily be the best things. Number one is my personality. I do feel that sometimes I have become a little bit more arrogant, a little bit more impatient when it comes to talking to people. Why do I say arrogant? In my free time, I read a lot, I learn a lot, even learning languages. I try to, I have my time to absorb things. And somehow you become a nerd in your field. Sometimes it might be music. You have some places of interest that you explore when you are alone. And sometimes you have much time alone, meaning much time to explore those things. So you become somehow, let's not say a master, but you become knowledgeable in some of those things. Then when you talk to people, you can literally see, you can smell from kilometers away who from those people read, kind of go deeper into any topic, have profound, deep arguments, opinions, comments. Some people sometimes you just talk to and they have zero opinions about anything. And that for me is a little bit concerning. And that for me is kind of a breaking point. And if I cannot have a conversation with you, if I see no value in our conversation, I become highly, I'm just not interested in pursuing the conversation. Or sometimes I feel I go into topics like deeply, 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 and people might find it as like annoying or somehow arrogant from my side. The other point is that the peace I feel and I find when I'm alone is somehow destroyed when I'm with people. So patience starts becoming like a hard thing to handle because whenever I'm surrounded by people and they are doing things that I disagree with or I don't like, I just start getting bored and I feel that my energetical, let's say, like battery, let's call it my energetical social battery starts running low and low and low, and there is a moment that I feel like okay, this is this is the limit of my sociability today. I need to go home, I need to be alone. Obviously when you're by yourself you start doing things your way, and because of that sometimes it's harder to accept the way people do other things because I do the things my way, nobody's going against me and nobody is disagreeing with me, and for me the way I do things work perfectly. So when I see somebody kind of destroying that somehow perfection that I've created, I become impatient. So yeah, it is true. Basically, the risk of loving loneliness too much is that you start detaching yourself from society, which is not good, and I do not recommend it. And that's not the purpose of this. This is not the purpose of loneliness to detach yourself from society. Also, it is not the purpose of loneliness that you start hating on people just because you like to be alone and you cannot stand them anymore. That's not the purpose of being alone. However, in a very controlled situation, like in my case, I know when to be alone. I know when I need my time during the week, because I also like to go out with friends. I like to be funny with my friends, talking, enjoying, having a glass of wine, and I don't know, playing games, discussing things, going to the gym with my friends. I do that. I enjoy all of that, but I need my loneliness. And when I have 2 or 3 days in a row by myself alone, I don't feel the need of calling people or gathering people. Even if they call me, there is a party, there is a meeting, I just say no. So the issue with loneliness is once you start getting used to it, you become more independent. And I'm saying loneliness teaches about being independent because you start solving your own situations by yourself. And I think that's a skill everyone should have. Everyone should learn how to develop those abilities that are going to let you solve your own situations without calling mommy, without calling your dad. First, you do it yourself. First, you do it yourself. And that's something that you gain by being alone. Sometimes, literally, you have nobody to talk to. You start crying. No, you don't cry. You just solve the situation. You understand. There's a moment where you understand that either you do it or you do it. That's it. Simple as that. But as I said at the beginning, not all the loneliness are experienced the same. Some people are alone because the circumstances are pushing them to be alone. Some people are alone because they have, I don't know, somehow mental issues or somehow, I don't know, any internal emotional issues. There are many ways that you end up being by yourself. The issue is knowing and learning how to flow with this. Now, this is something heavy that I'm just gonna comment on slightly, like in a very, very soft way, because I'm not entitled to talk about that either. I'm just a regular human talking about my personal experience. For sure, one of the biggest issues when being alone is that you start getting too much into your head. And we all know that that's not completely okay. Sometimes when you get too much into your head, you start going around with some intrusive thoughts that are not completely good, let's say. And clearly, you know what I'm talking about. Those intrusive thoughts might push you, might lead you to take bad decisions, to think badly about yourself, or to sometimes, many, many times, to exaggerate situations. So many times something happened, in the week. You are alone and you have that situation in your mind that you were bothered by, you were annoyed by, or somebody hurt you, and now you have plenty of time to go around and around and around in a vicious circle where you find no peace, and you just go around and around, and the only thing that it does is bringing kind of remorse to your soul. It's kind of brings some bad negative thoughts to your mind. So there are many beneficial things of loneliness, and I find that loneliness is a perfect way to find balance. However, it's also a perfect way to go deeper in our souls, deeper in our hearts, in our feelings and emotions, but also our mind. And you know that this little thing, this little head right here, for some people, let's suppose, is this like a place full of rooms, secret rooms. Some rooms are nice and lovely and well decorated. Some rooms are just very logical, very like studios, libraries. Some rooms are for relaxation, they are so cool, like chill, cozy. But some rooms are dark. Some rooms are just creepy. Basements, let's say, there are dark basements, and sometimes when you are alone, you are brave enough to go into those rooms. And sometimes opening those rooms when you are by yourself, when you have no strong control on your emotions, can be somehow dangerous. If you think that what I'm saying is kind of touching you, in the sense of you falling into that category of those people who go too much into the mind, who open those doors in the darkest basements of your subconscious, you need to talk to somebody. I don't want you to be alone. Maybe being alone is not the answer for you. Maybe what you need right now is not being alone. Talk to somebody. Careful. I'm not giving you therapy. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a regular human being talking to human beings. That's it. I'm just a simple man talking to you. But now let's go again into the bright side of loneliness. There is something that I have experienced that I really wish that you can tell me in the comments if you have experienced this. I feel that loneliness has given me the time and space to really forget or forgive things. And for me, that's one of the hardest things. Let me tell you, that's if somebody hurt me after years, I still have in my head those words you said to me. I still have in my head what you did to me that hurt me or that touched me in an impactful way. And the issue is like by being by myself, sometimes I've thought about it, I've gone around those topics and I'm like, actually, this is silly that I'm still thinking about that. It's time to move on, let it go. By being alone, I have had the extraordinary opportunity to explore creativity, for example, in so many ways: writing, reading, drawing, sketching, painting, sculpturing, playing music, piano, the guitar, talking in different languages. It's like being alone in my case is somehow like being at school because I'm never doing just nothing. I'm always productive, doing something, learning something. And that is something that only by being alone is possible. If I'm surrounded by people, I would never been able to learn or do the things that I've done so far. And last but not least, probably one of the most amazing things that I've done in my life, thanks to being alone and thinking about it, being here. Right now, I live in Vienna, and I've been for the past 12 years around Europe. And sometimes I think like, what am I doing here? How me, a Colombian, how did I do it to come this far? And before I was living in Poland, and I lived in Berlin, and I lived in the United Kingdom. But how did I do it? And I remember clearly because I told this story in a different video. You can check it out on YouTube about the mindset. I took the decision of leaving. I was alone in my room, being a university student. I was finishing my program at my university in Colombia. And I started thinking, what am I doing here? What about my future, my career, I don't know, anything is just not in Colombia, maybe somewhere else. And that is exactly where all this idea of living, just exploring the world started. And now it's been almost 12 years because of the independence that my kind of lonely soul gave me. When I left, literally, I didn't cry. It was sad to leave my parents for the very first time, to leave my family, my home, everything. But I really wanted to leave. I had that eager to explore the world. I really wanted to see what else was out there. I was like, it's impossible that the whole world is what I'm seeing here in this little town where I'm living. There has to be much more. And I just left. I just left. And I've been extremely happy since then. Sometimes life is just too fast. Sometimes it's just too fast. Things are happening in a second. It's January, then it's December, New Year's again, happy birthday again, and the years just run. Time doesn't stop and it's too fast. Being alone is the time that I have to breathe, to slow down for a second. Somehow I feel that time freezes when I'm by myself. I can breathe again. I can feel the aroma of the coffee. Oh my God, I love it. And actually having a coffee by myself when I'm alone at home is just a religious experience. And one of the most ironic things is the sound of silence. The sound of silence. Yes. Again, not many people might understand that reference, but silence is not silence. Silence sometimes can be like so loud. You only hear silence when you are by yourself. Close your mouth, close your eyes. Just concentrate on the silence. Silence is never silence. It's full of noises, it's full of waves, it's full of frequencies. And I love to enjoy that. Just silence. But now the funny thing is, why am I talking in YouTube about this? Why am I talking to you about this? Well, the funny thing is, I haven't found so many people who feel the same. Like in the sense of, maybe if I post it in social media, okay, yeah, many people say like, oh, I feel the same you feel. When you go to my TikTok, sometimes I'm posting things that people are like, oh, I relate. I know exactly what you feel. But sometimes my posts can go to, example, 100,000 views. Yeah, but that's not realistic because I would never be able to talk to 100,000 people, like having here 1,000 people to talk to. So yes, many of you online in social media say that, but in real life, when I talk to people, they're like, oh no, I like to be alone, but yeah, a couple of hours, one day, but then I have to be with my friends. What are you doing on Friday? Oh, you're not going out. What are you doing on Saturday? Oh, you're not going out. Oh, you know, it's like there is. I feel, I don't know, but I feel that so many people, they have this need of being surrounded by others. They have this, I don't know if it's a need of being accepted. They are finding validation every time, every second by others. And sometimes, literally, when the weekend comes, the weekend for me doesn't mean meeting people. Sometimes it means me time. And that's what I want to share with you, because maybe you feel the same as me. Like, you feel the same, but you never talk to loneliness to somebody. And as I said, there are negative things, positive things. When you get too much into your head, you might go into darker sides. But also from loneliness, you learn to be independent. You learn about you. You learn who you are. You start being so sure about who you are, that when people talk to you, when people talk to me and they ask about me, I have exact answers, because I already had the time to know me. And the rainy Sundays, oh my God, I don't want to romanticize them, but I want to romanticize them. A rainy Sunday, feeling the rain, the wind. I have a lot of flowers outside, so feeling them, like looking at them, like moving, dancing around because of the wind, and the fresh air coming through the window. Just having a coffee, reading a book, watching Netflix, whatever you want to do, but that's quality time. For sure, it's nice to enjoy with somebody else, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, family, but don't underestimate the power of being by yourself. That's a gift. Oh my God! And the fresh air after the rain. This is. By the way, I didn't show you. Yeah, side topic. I'm sorry about this. Look at this. Wait, wait. Look at my tomato flowers with tomatoes ready to be eaten. Look at that. And I have this one, red ones, and look at this one. Look at these beautiful tomatoes. Look at that. I also have strawberries. Let me show you. So, I don't know if you know about plants, but this is the strawberry plants. These are baby strawberries. Let me see if we can find. Tan tan. Look at this beauty. Some of them are so big. I don't know if you can see their inside. Look at that. Also this one. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, yeah, there is one here. Yeah, look at that. Look at this beautifuls. This is perfect. Look. Oh my God, look how cute they are. My dears, leave it in the comments. How do you experience loneliness? My dears, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, to like, to comment. That's gonna help me a lot. This video of today was more like slow, soft, but it's perfect. It's Sunday. It's rainy. This is the vibe that I'm feeling right now at home. So I hope you don't mind my low pace today. The idea is just to enjoy life. Enjoy your afternoon. Please go check TikTok. I'm having really, really nice and fun videos that probably you might like. And nothing. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your coffee. See you soon. Bye bye.